We don't experience the world, we experience our mind. We don't live in the world, we live in our world, and the real you exists deeper than that mental construction. You think you are experiencing reality. You think I saw this person, I felt hurt, I enjoyed that moment. But look closely. Did you really experience the world? Or did you experience your memory, your conditioning, your fears, your expectations? Two people walk into the same room. One feels insulted, one feels respected. Same room, same words, different worlds. So tell me, where is the experience happening? Not in the room, in the mind. When I say we don't live in the world, we live in our world, I mean you are not seeing reality. You are seeing your past replaying itself, your insecurities coloring everything, your desires distorting what is. You don't see a person, you see someone who might reject me, someone who might admire me, someone useful, someone threatening. That is not reality, that is your projection. And then comes the deeper cut. The real you exists deeper than that mental construction. This is where most people stop because going further is dangerous. If everything you experience is filtered, then who are you without the filter? Not your thoughts, not your reactions, not your identity. Then what remains? I'm pointing to this. There is something in you that sees the thoughts, notices the reactions, watches the fear arise. That thing is not disturbed, is not reacting, is not constructing. It is just aware. But you never stay there because you are addicted to interpreting, judging, reacting, becoming. So you live in noise and call it life. A peaceful mind is not someone who fixed a life. It is someone who stopped interfering with reality. A restless mind is not someone with problems. It is someone who's constantly resisting what is, chasing what isn't, rewriting reality in their head. So understand this clearly. You are not suffering because of life. You are suffering because you are living inside your own interpretation of life. And the final blow. If your entire world is your mental construction, then everything you fear, chase, and protect may not even be real. That is what I'm trying to say. Not something to agree with, something to see. Once seen, you cannot go back to living the same way. Listen carefully. You say, I'm experiencing life. No, you are experiencing layers placed on top of life. Let's peel them one by one. Memory, the ghost that never leaves. You never meet anything fresh. You meet it through what you already know. You see a person, instantly the mind says, he looks arrogant. She reminds me of someone. This won't go well. Where did that come from? Memory. Past experiences stitched together, projected onto the present. So you are not seeing the person, you are seeing a recycled image from yesterday. Conditioning, the invisible script. Before you could think, you were told what is success, what is failure, what is attractive, what is shameful, family, society, culture. It all got installed. Now you walk around thinking, these are my thoughts. No, they are borrowed conclusions. So when you look at life, you are not looking directly, you are reading from a script. Fear, the constant distortion. Fear doesn't wait for danger, it creates it. You enter a conversation, nothing has happened yet. But inside, what if I mess up? What if they judge me? Now look carefully. The moment fear enters, reality is already gone. You are no longer responding to what is, you are reacting to what might be. Expectation, the silent manipulator. You never go into anything empty. You carry hope, desire, imagined outcomes. You meet someone. You already want respect, validation, connection. Now, whatever happens is filtered through did I get what I wanted? So, you don't experience the moment. You experience whether the moment obeyed your expectation. Put it together, memory says, this is what it is. Conditioning says, this is how it should be. Fear says, this is what could go wrong. Expectation says, this is what I want. And all of this happens before you even see reality. So, what is actually happening? Life is simple, but you never made it simply. You made it through past memory, programming, conditioning, projection, fear, demand, expectation. So your experience is not life, it is a mental interpretation layered on top of life. Then what is the real you? Not the one talking, not the one reacting, not the one interpreting. There is something in you that can notice all this right now. It can see this is memory, this is fear, this is expectation. That which sees is not part of what it sees. That is the deeper you, silent, uninvolved, uncolored. But here is the problem, you don't stay there. You immediately jump back into judging, reacting, becoming. But that's what you are used to. The truth, stripped clean. You are not living in reality. You are living in a continuous interpretation of reality. And that interpretation is built from your past, your programming, your fears, your desires. If you could, even for a moment, look at something without memory, without fear, without expectation, you wouldn't experience it. You would simply see it. And in that seeing, there is no disturbance, no distortion, no you as you currently know yourself. That is what I am pointing to. Not a better life, a different way of seeing. Listen, you say life is hard, life is painful. Look carefully. Is it life or is it what your mind says about life? The split you never notice. Something happens. Simple, neutral. A person doesn't reply to your message. That's reality. One fact, no reply. But instantly your mind builds a story. They are ignoring me. I'm not important. Something is wrong. I messed up. Now pass. Where did all this come from? Not from reality, from interpretation. And then you suffer. Not because of no reply, but because of the story you build around it. This is your entire life. Event happens, mind interprets, emotion follows, you call it reality. But it's not reality. It's your version of reality. Fear is built on something that doesn't exist. You fear rejection, failure, judgment, loss. But look closely. Are you fearing something happening right now or something imagined? Most of your fear is about a future that hasn't happened, a projection, a mental movie. So, what are you really afraid of? Not reality, a thought, chasing, running after illusions. You chase success, validation, approval, attention. Why? Because your mind has created an image. If I get this, I will finally feel complete. But that image is built from comparison, shaped by conditioning, fueled by insecurity. So you are not chasing something real, you are chasing a psychological promise, protecting, defending something fragile. You protect your image, your identity, how others see you. You get hurt when someone criticizes you. Why? Because they didn't touch reality, they touched your self image. And that image is something you built over time. So you are constantly defending something that doesn't actually exist outside your mind. Now see the full picture. You fear things that are imagined. You chase things that are projected. You protect things that are constructed. And then you say, I am suffering because of life. No, you are suffering because you are entangled in your own mental world. What would it mean to see clearly? It doesn't mean becoming emotionless. It means seeing this is a thought, not reality. This is fear, not fact. This is expectation, not truth. The moment you see this clearly, something loosens. A simple example. Think about a time you are anxious before something. An interview, a conversation, a decision. Before it happened, mind was racing, fear was intense, scenarios were playing. Then it happened. And most of what you feared never actually happened. So what were you suffering from? Not the event, your imagination of the event. The uncomfortable truth. If most of your suffering is coming from interpretation, then your suffering is self-created, not intentionally, but mechanically, automatically. If your entire world is a mental construction, then the insult you can't forget, the future you are afraid of, the validation you are chasing are all happening inside your head first. And that changes everything. Because now the question is not how do I fix life, but can I see when my mind is distorting life? That seeing is the beginning of freedom, not control, not effort, just clear seeing. Listen, You spend your life trying to fix the world, people, situations, outcomes. But the real distortion was never out there. It was here, in the way the mind remembers, interprets, fears, and demands. You were not reacting to life, you were reacting to what you think life is, what you want it to be, what you fear it might become. And so the suffering was never clean. It was layered, manufactured, repeated. When this is seen clearly, not intellectually, but directly, something quite happens. You stop arguing with reality. You stop chasing psychological rewards. You stop defending fragile identities. Life doesn't suddenly become perfect, but it becomes undistorted, simple, direct, unburdened. And in that, there is no need to escape, fix, or become. Because for the first time, you are no longer living in your mind's version of life. You are simply living.